Julie Chrisley physically ill in prison. What happened? Julie Chrisley and her husband Todd experienced a poor quality of life in prison, according to Savannah Chrisley. The Chrisley Knows Best alum hasn't stopped calling out the lack of air conditioning, even though her mom might be sent home earlier than expected. Julie Chrisley struggles with the heat. This time last year, Chrisley Knows Best alums, Savannah Chrisley and her brother, Chase, talked about the lack of air conditioning in the Kentucky prison. At the time, the federal prison system claimed that all of its facilities were livable. A rep said that both AC and heat were turned on when the temperature outside dictated the need for it. Julie Chrisley's son, Chase, called BS on that, and so did his sister, although she tried to rein him in a bit. He argued that even killers deserve livable temperatures. Well, it seems that their public debate on that didn't make any difference at all. Savannah Chrisley says mom got physically ill. During her latest Unlocked podcast, Savannah talked about visiting her mom recently. As it was hot, she noticed that it seemed as if only certain people had access to air conditioning. Why it took on so much importance was that her mom loved the visitation because it meant a temporary respite from the heat in the air-conditioned visitor center. Julie Chrisley spoke with Savannah, who cited her as saying that she got physically sick because she got so hot. The Chrisley Knows Best alum told her podcast listeners, "Chrisley Knows Best fans react. While plenty of people don't sympathize with Todd and Julie Chrisley, a lot of fans love them." In the comments, a few people talked about the alleged heat. Here are some reactions. "I'm in tears." "Savannah, thank you for shedding light on the inhumane actions of our system. I pray for you and your family." "Thank you, Savannah, for bringing awareness about the terrible conditions in our prison system. This is so sad that people get treated this way. It makes me wonder how many people die in prison from being abused/mistreated. People are still human, even if they made a mistake, and are there. Keep up the good work, Savannah." The prison doors closed behind Julie Chrisley with an echo that reverberated through the long, sterile hallway, a sound that signaled the stark divide between her former life of affluence and the cold reality of her current one. It had been months since she first stepped into this new chapter, each day marked by regimented routines, sterile walls, and an endless, gnawing uncertainty. The once vibrant star of Chrisley Knows Best was now enveloped by the subdued world of prison, a place where time seemed to stand still, and the spirit was tested beyond imagination. At first, Julie tried to adjust, her innate grace and resilience propelling her through those early days. She kept herself busy, participating in community programs and leaning on her faith to carry her through the worst moments. She was determined to adapt, to find some semblance of peace amid the unforgiving confines of incarceration. But prison life was unyielding, and as weeks turned into months, the strain of her surroundings began to chip away at the composure that had been her hallmark. Rumors swirled among the inmates and the sparse staff. Whispers of Julie Chrisley looking pale and fatigued, her steps slowing as if an invisible weight pressed down on her. Her laughter, once bright and full of life, had become rare and clipped, a sound that now seemed foreign even to her own ears. Fellow inmates noticed her frequent absences from shared activities, and speculation buzzed in the dimly lit common room. Was Julie Chrisley ill? What began as mere murmurs quickly evolved into undeniable reality. One evening, as the fluorescent lights flickered above, Julie sat in the corner of the recreation area, her face shadowed by exhaustion. She felt a sudden pang deep in her stomach, a wave of nausea that rose swiftly, leaving her breathless. Her hands trembled as she clutched the arm of the chair, her vision swimming with spots of light. The room around her, already grim and colorless, seemed to shrink, pressing in on her from all sides. "I need help," she managed to whisper before the world went dark. When she awoke, she was lying on a narrow bed in the prison's infirmary, the air thick with antiseptic and the faint hum of an old air conditioning unit. The nurse on duty, a woman with sharp eyes softened by lines of fatigue, glanced down at her clipboard before meeting Julie's gaze. "You're awake," the nurse said, her voice matter-of-fact but not unkind. "You've been out for a while." "What happened?" Julie asked, though she already knew the answer. It was the culmination of relentless stress, a weakening spirit, and the relentless churn of worry that had eroded her health day by day. The nurse sighed, setting down the clipboard. "You've been pushing too hard. It's taking a toll," she said, a note of caution in her tone. "Your blood pressure is dangerously high, and you're severely dehydrated. Not to mention, you are not eating enough to keep a bird alive." Julie pressed her lips together, guilt swirling in her chest. It was true. She had lost her appetite long ago. The food, a monotonous blend of overcooked vegetables and watery soup, was a far cry from the carefully prepared meals she once made for her family. But it wasn't just the quality of the food that kept her from eating. It was the weight of despair that settled in her stomach like a stone. Despite the nurse's warnings, Julie couldn't help but think of her family. The image of Todd, her partner in life, and in their shared sentence, flashed before her eyes. How was he coping? Were the children managing without them? Each day apart from them was a sharp, unyielding ache, a reminder that while she endured the confines of prison, they faced battles of their own in the outside world. The following weeks were a battle for recovery. The prison medical team, limited in resources and stretched thin, did what they could to monitor Julie's condition. She was prescribed a regimen of medication to manage her blood pressure, forced hydration to combat dehydration, and gentle encouragement to consume enough food. Yet even with these interventions, there was an unspoken understanding that her physical health was intertwined with her emotional and mental state, a fact that prison life did little to alleviate. Word of Julie's condition spread among the inmates, shifting the atmosphere. Some expressed sympathy, their nods in the corridor conveying silent support. Others, hardened by their own experiences, shrugged it off with an air of indifference, as though acknowledging that everyone here was fighting their own invisible war. One morning, Julie received an unexpected visit. The guard led her, her steps unsteady but determined, to a small visitation room where a television screen flickered to life. The faces of her children filled the screen, their eyes bright with worry but laced with hope. Savannah, her eldest daughter, spoke first, her voice quivering despite her best efforts to sound brave. "Mom, you've got to take care of yourself. We're here, waiting for you. You're not alone." Tears welled up in Julie's eyes, her throat tightening. This was the reminder she needed, a spark to reignite the strength she thought she had lost. The visit was brief, but it lingered with her long after, a flicker of warmth in the cold walls of her cell. Julie's recovery was not linear. There were days when the exhaustion was so profound that simply standing was a challenge. But with the memory of her children's faces embedded in her heart, she fought back. She ate the bland meals, forced down the chalky taste of hydration solutions, and rested whenever her body demanded it. Slowly, color returned to her cheeks. The whispers among the inmates turned from concern to surprise. Julie Chrisley was getting better. The woman who had seemed on the brink of being swallowed by her new reality was finding her footing once more. But prison was an environment that left little room for complacency. It tested Julie daily, reminding her that this battle for her health was only one of many. Yet through the support of her family, even from afar, and the quiet resilience she discovered within herself, she pushed forward. Julie Chrisley's journey in prison was not just a struggle for survival, but a testament to the enduring power of hope and the human spirit's capacity to endure, even when faced with the harshest of circumstances.